Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all the men with power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a dream. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Oh, different audio tonight. You can see the different acoustic. I'm not in my studio. I am in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, somewhere in Arizona, and it's night. I am literally in the woods, about 7,000 feet elevation, or maybe something like that. There is a little wind, there is some lightning in the sky, nice and cool. Probably some of you say, what the heck is going on? This is Love, Guns, and Freedom. Now what you're doing, playing Boy Scout out there? No, guys, sometimes I need to detach from the news that normally we talk. And don't get me wrong, the news that we talk are very important. I believe that we cannot ignore reality at all. I mean, you can try to ignore reality. The reality there is still there. You cannot ignore the consequences of reality, even if you ignore the reality. So, we have to face it. But sometimes I like to look at this from another angle, from another perspective. Like almost detaching from our time and looking in the perspective of, from the future maybe. What people, they will look back at us. Hopefully with the results that we hope. Hopefully the future, the next generation, they will not face the nightmares that we foresee or we foresaw. So we are here to fight, to try to avoid that reality. But the same way I like to try to tonight, because this, by the way, the show is being recorded in the night, in the middle of the night. Hopefully one day this message, these thoughts, these fears, these hopes are going to become like almost a pill, like a message in the box, like some sort of a witnessing that we were here, we were fighting, we were struggling. We didn't give up, and we will not give up. And so that's pretty much tonight what I would like to share with you, at least part of the show. Yes, tomorrow I'll be back into the studio. I'm not gonna, make you fall asleep with all these thunderstorms and wind and maybe some coyotes and wolves. By the way, I saw a wolf a few days ago around here, beautiful. Don't get me wrong, I'm not some Francis of Assisi. I'm not here to tell you that the wolf is to eat my pets or to endanger my life. I'll defend my life and my pets if I have to. But at the same time, I respect the wolves, I respect nature. It's also their place. So the point is, what really is going on here in the last few years, not just in America, around the world, but we're really seeing this even more in the last few weeks. I've never seen this complete open attack on freedom and singling out some individuals out there because they are feared. I believe they are feared. As I said, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a President Trump fan in a way that, I don't idealize him, but I respect him. I respect the things he's been trying to do, even if I don't agree with other things he does. But the fact that he's getting so much hate and so much attacks, also personal level, the media, you know that this is complete planned propaganda. It's a planned coordinated attack beyond never any other president in the history of this country ever faced. And also now we're looking at things like, not just President Trump, but also let's look at people like Alex Jones. I mean, the fact that all these technological corporations, I call it techno-fascism, they have now decided that it's time to don't even fake it anymore. This is like 1984, to complete censor free speech. And this is it. YouTube. Look at Facebook. Look at every other media. iTunes. I mean, this is huge. The point is, some of us may say, oh, this is, it's not happening to me. Guess what? Doesn't matter. You will be next. We will be next. And the fact that we cannot have the news, or at least the information, even the opinions, because after all, Alex Jones is not even a newsman, he shares his opinions like I do. The fact that now in America there is this level of censorship never happened before. But the question is, what's next? Why they're doing this? They are preparing for something. Unfortunately, yes, they are. You need to shut down the opposition before you're going to go for the real deal. I mean, this is just a preparation. Forget about also the elections. I mean, we know that they fear people like Alex Jones because they've been very effective during the presidential elections, especially, to try to expose the left and expose Hillary. Don't get me wrong, I won't like to expose also the Republicans, and Alex Jones has been doing. I mean, there are Republicans that they're repulsive. You want to tell me that McCain's supposed to be what? One of the heroes? Senator McCain is a fraud and doesn't even fake it anymore. You want to tell me that people like Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, is a good guy? The guy is, in my opinion, supposed to be really, probably arrested for treason. And so other Republicans out there. So this is not about left and right. This is about the traitors and people who are trying to defend our republic and our sovereignty against the global government. I mean, if you saw now that what the left is trying to do, and not just the left, even Republicans, the goal was to abolish completely the borders. Now they're open. The fact that they don't want ICE, they don't want immigration enforcement anymore, there's the declaration that they want to destroy America's sovereignty. That means we're going to live in a global government where there are no more borders. Some of you may say, oh, this is great. Wait a second, don't you understand? This is not great. This is exactly Hitler's dream. You want to be, if you don't, think about for a moment. If you don't want it anymore to be an American, what you will become a citizen of the world, and that means a slave of the world. No other country like America had, and I say had because technically we're losing them, a lot of them, but we still have, because we are still alive. Until we're alive, we have rights. The fact that we have something that no other country around the world ever had. Europe say, oh, they lost the gun rights. Australia lost the gun rights. England lost the gun rights. They never had gun rights. They never had the Second Amendment. They never had the Bill of Rights. They always been subjects of the crown or subjects of the mob. The point is, we are here as a unique country. And I really believe that, This is coming from a former Italian who traveled a little bit around the world before I decided to come to America and become an American. No other country has what we have here. And the fact that they want to try to blend us in with the rest of the crap. Sorry, this is true. In my opinion, the rest is crap. I don't want to be a Canadian. I don't want to be, and don't offense for Canadian brothers and sisters. They're great people. I love them. But unfortunately, you're still subjects of the crown. You don't have the right of freedom of speech. You don't have the right even to keep and bear arms. Look at in Europe, Italy. I don't want to sound like, I don't like or I hate other countries. I have friends and brothers from around the world. But the reality is true, my friends. I wish every country had a 1776 moment, starting from Italy. Italy, we've been slaves since the beginning. Think about the Romans. The Romans, they were the masters, but they had slaves. Then when the Roman Empire fell, guess what? Then you had the popes. Then you had the clergy, the new emperors. And then, of course, and then you had all these different little kings and lords. And then guess what? Slaves, they were still slaves. And there were no Bill of Rights. There was no Bill of Rights. There were no rights. They were just privileges, once in a while granted by the masters. And this is still now, right now. It's still there. Okay? Nothing changed. So I'm not trying to put down British people, German people. This is just the reality of the world. That's why America is so precious, in my opinion. And we need to bring it back to the way it was. But my point is, what is happening right now here, it is very something that we must react. We cannot let it happen. I fear for our next generation of sons and daughters to let this happen. Things that we can still do in this country, at least in some states. Don't get me wrong, you're in California, New York, or I don't know, Massachusetts, whatever it's called, you're already gone. You're not part anymore of this country. You are already in the global slave plantation. Okay? California, you have no rights. New York, you have no rights at all. I mean, the fact today I was driving in Arizona, the middle of nowhere, listening to the radio, and there was this radio show. It's kind of funny. You can call in and you can sell whatever you want. 9 out of 10 of these phone callers, they were selling guns. Think about it. Hey, there was this old man. Hey, I have 2 shotguns. I would like to sell. Good price. Call me. I mean, we can sell guns over the radio here. Forget about permits. Forget about licenses. Forget about background check. We are free human beings. At least when it comes down to the Second Amendment, we really are in this state. That's true. I don't know any other part of the world that has the Second Amendment like Arizona. That's the point. There are other states, don't get me wrong, beautiful. It's getting better. So my point is this, I would like to have the same thing that we still can breathe and enjoy here in 2018 here, even with all the different challenges we are facing and the terrible things we see at the horizon. I would like to see the same opportunities for our sons and daughters. And I pray tonight. This is my temple, by the way. I don't go to churches, you know that. I have my belief system. I don't want to even share it because, I'm not here to proselyte. I'm not here to convince you. Do what you want. You believe in what you want. All I care that your beliefs does not infringe on mine. And that's it. But this is my temple. I am connected to the earth. I'm connected to the nature. This is where I belong. It's funny, since I was a child, I was always attracted to nature. I don't need preachers, I don't need pastors, I don't need people tell me what to do, I don't need to pay, the fees to the church, I don't need to wear special dress or go to Sunday church or anything like that. No, sorry, this is not for me. It may work for you, and I respect that, okay? That's okay. If you like it, you want to give money to somebody out there, you want to call him prophet, you want to call him priest, you want to call him pope, whatever. That's your business. The only thing I draw the line is when any religious system try to coerce somebody else against their will. That's where I draw the line. That's where I become vocal. Otherwise, if you really like to do that, if you're masochist, I don't even want to call him masochist, I don't want to offend you. If you like to do that, if you would like to get 10, 15, 20% or whatever of your money to somebody out there that you call your prophet or your pope or whatever, that's fine. It's your money, I don't care. But when you go around, acting like a lamb, that's not really acting like a lamb. But at the beginning, they act like a lamb. You know what I'm talking about, They go out there, try to play the victim card. And then, they are the little new guys on the block. Guess what? Let them get in, they will take over the block. And then they will dictate their rules. And they will use their theocratic system in our society. I'm talking about Islam. I'm not even hiding it. This is the truth, guys. I'm sorry. Look at the book. I already told you many times. And by the way, Islam, it is not just something that was created by accident. And more important, it's, imported by accident in our country. It's like a very well-planned tool of destruction by the global elite. So don't you think that all these millions of Muslims invading Europe, they came just because, the door was open? No, the door was left open. They were invited. Germany, Spain, even Italy for all these years. Sweden. All this was part, and it's part of the globalists to destroy the rest of us. How do you destroy the rest of us? You need to divide and conquer. And I tell you, the Muslims, they're pretty good at divide and conquer because they really believe their stuff. They're so convinced that they are the useful idiots, in my opinion, because they will go there, take over and destroy. And that's the bottom line. So, I fear for the future, because if we don't stop this wave of destruction, it's like a dark wave, whatever touches, destroys. And you never take it back. I mean, look in England right now. They have the majority. I would have no problem if it was a spontaneous movement of people that can integrate. I don't care about the color of your skin. I mean, one day, probably, migrations will happen, people will move around and they will start to decide how they want to breed. Fine. But the point is, when this is being created with a goal to destroy civilization, the point is, the problem is that this cult, they are not there to assimilate. They are there to destroy and to convert you and to submit you. Remember, Islam is not peace, doesn't mean peace. Islam is submission. That's what it is. And people say, there are some good Muslims out there. I'm sure there are good people out there among the Muslims. I'm sure. I knew some. But the problem is that they are not good Muslims. They are good people. Maybe they were Muslims like I was born Catholic without even knowing, or maybe without even wanting to be a Catholic. But the point is, they're not good Muslims. If you're a good Muslim, I'm sorry. If you follow your book, you may be doing great wherever you're from in your country. That's your business. But you have no place in a civil society. That's the bottom line. If you're just a Muslim because you like to call yourself Muslim, that's fine. But if you're a follower of the religion, you know what the Prophet told you to do. You know very well. So that's the point. I really realize it now that we are facing here an historic moment. A moment that if we don't fight, and fighting means also being aware, and don't be silent. I don't ask you to go out there and start to, throw punches or whatever, start to become Rambo out there. No, I try educate people. Don't be afraid to be called names. How many names I've been called the last few years since I started to understand some? Because I say some because there's always something new to understand. I don't care. People can call me crazy, that's fine. I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to tell you what I really believe. And I wish I were wrong. I wish I were wrong on anything. And when I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong. Don't get me wrong. Okay? So the point is, we gotta get active here. At the end, this is our responsibility. By the way, there is a little rain. It's beautiful. Probably you can hear it. Lighting is powerful here. The sound of nature. Something that we forget many times. We are used to live in a chaotic environment, with city noises, cars, and what else? People screaming. This is just the way it used to be. Think about it. Been like that for millions of years. Sometimes I wish I had a time machine just to see exactly where I am right now. What was happening 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. I've always been fascinated by history, especially that type of first view, point of view history. I can only imagine, I can look at the signs, I can look at whatever is left on the land. There are still signs out there. I can see fossils. I can see tools. I can see a lot of things. I wish I could see with my own eyes, really. And people say, Luca, I have a lot of friends here that they believe that somehow the Indians, the natives, how do you want to call them, they were people who deserved more because they were stolen their land. Don't get me wrong. They got screwed. I'm aware of it. So much they got screwed that they lost. But the point is not the white man, the problem. The problem is humanity. Because when I see people idealizing the natives, by the way, if you're born in America, you're native too, in my opinion, okay? I wasn't a native, I wasn't born here. But if you were born in America, you're native too. But the point, when they call it natives, the Indians, whatever, I don't know. I'm from Italy, okay? Sorry, guys, if I say stupid things. But the point is, people were born here as natives, as Indians, whatever you want to call them. They weren't exactly living in peace either. They were screwing each other before the white man came. They were battling, they were conquering land, they were enslaving each other, they were raping. There was nothing about peaceful. The only peace was when, somebody won, and then, of course, there was peace, because one was pretty much decimated or assimilated. But the point is, that's what I'm trying to say. This is the problem of humanity. The white man had just more resources and more technology. If the Indians had the same, probably they would have defended themselves, but they were still fighting each other. So I don't want to, put them down, because, I feel sorry for them. After all, they lost. They lost. Now so much that they are in reservations, right? And guess what? In reservations, there are no guns, right? Why? Because when you are no armed, you are a slave. I'm sorry. It's like a prison without bars. They give you some money, they give you the opportunity to be alive, and they keep you enslaved. Of course, don't even think that you have a right to keep them arms, because after all, they don't want you armed. So I feel sorry for them, because after all, I feel like they are my brothers and sisters, they're human beings. The same way I want to say, guys, you were doing the same stuff to yourself, to other tribes, before the white man came. That's the bottom line. So, what is the message out of all this? We all should be armed. Because the moment somebody is unarmed, somebody else will take over you and will enslave you. So I think we should respect each other. We should respect our sovereignty. I like to trade. I like to find a way we can coexist. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for peace. But the same way, we should have the right to defend our sovereignty and our freedom. And that's why the Indians lost, because they didn't have the same weapons and the same resources that the white man had. And now we are all Indians, in my opinion. Look around. They want to enslave us all. They want to put us all in these reservations. What are these reservations? They're these big cities. These big cities that Agenda 21, Agenda 2030 pretty much will control us like a pack of cows, like cattle. That's what it is about. So they're trying to kick us out even from here in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, these rural areas, very nice. Not exactly easy living, because after all, you have a lot of things to take care of yourself, Probably many of the reality here we have off the grid and spread around, just to go to town takes you a trip. But that's okay, we like it. But the point, they want us out of here. They want us all packed in these big cities. They will find different ways to do that. First of all, taxation, it's one way. Increase your property taxes in a way that you cannot live anymore on your little ranch. Because if you're on fixed income, you have to decide if you want to pay for food or pay for the property taxes. That's the reality. It's sad, but this is happening in America. This property taxes is slavery. As simple as that. Second way, they will move you around with water. If you don't have water, guess what? You will die. Or you will move. And that's why they will try to control the water or even pollute the water. All this fracking, it's happening right now, even in Arizona. So think about it. And then, of course, at the end, remember, there's also the way that's going to be the hard way. But before they go there, they will find first the diplomatic way, as I just told you. So we are here, and I really tonight pray to my ancestors, pray to the ancestors of the free people who were before me, and people who fought for freedom, even people who were slaves. Because slaves understand freedom more than everybody else. You cannot appreciate freedom until you taste it, really. You taste what it means to be a slave. And you know what? I think I tasted it. Because when I was in Italy, probably, I didn't have a chain around my neck. I wasn't, carrying a ball chain up to my feet, or I didn't get, leashes on my back. But guess what? I was a slave on many other levels when I compared the life I was living before I came to America. I could even talk half of the things I say here to you guys. I would be arrested so many times just for the things I say. If I were in Italy, I would be arrested just for my speech. Don't even get me going with other things. So that's why I really appreciate what we have here, and that's why I say I'm focused, I'm dedicated. I'm just a little guy, I'm just a voice, but I would like to share my determination with all of you, because I know that all of you can be doing even better than I do, and you can inspire other people. And the same for all my brothers and sisters around the world. The last 5 years since I started Love, Guns and Freedom, I had the most beautiful gift to know people from other countries. South Africa, England, Germany. Many parts that, I never had a chance to communicate with. And now you're listening to the show, and I'm very humble. At the same way, I understand the different reality you're living in. And one thing only I can say about America that really we should do is I'm not here to go out there and say we gotta spread this evil world called democracy. By the way, if you're in America, you understand democracy is a bad word. It means mobs rule. We are a republic. What we should spread is freedom. And what we can do is inspire other nations. Even with things we're doing, our freedom of speech, something that in other countries they cannot do. And that's why I pray for all of you, my brothers and sisters, that one day, every one of your nations, sovereign nation, will have a moment that the people will unite and will reclaim their sovereignty. And they will reclaim that magic moment that happened to this country in 1776. When for the first time really in human history, men and women got together and said, we are human beings, we have rights. There is no king, there is no lord, we are all created equal. And we have rights, and no government can take away from us, and no government can give us, because we already have it. We already have him. And that's my point. And I pray every nation will have that magic moment. And with the magic moment, with freedom, prosperity will come. And it's not just prosperity of, economic prosperity. It's prosperity of your soul. I'm right now here in the middle of nowhere, dressed like, very humble guy. I'm jeans and boots and regular truck, and I feel like a billionaire. It's not about money in the bank. It's about doing things that in no other parts of the world you could do. That's what I'm saying. For me, this is priceless. Yeah, of course, I like to have decent things, pretty picky with my food and my wine, blah, 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 but I'm not there for those. I'm not here to buy an expensive car to show off or to impress anybody or to get that useless $20,000 watch. For what? I'm here to try to be free. That's it. Okay, now for tonight, I want to somehow take a break. The rain starts to come down. I see something moving out there. Could be a coyote. I got my night vision, by the way. I'm not completely clueless, guys, okay? I'm in the wilderness, but I'm prepared. I have my night vision, and of course my also night vision mounted on my AK. And I'm here enjoying the view of the clouds and the lightning, the sound of the rain, and all these things that normally we just don't listen to anymore. Because we are trapped in these cities and we think that watching that box called TV, that's all we have to do. Stay tuned. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca-Zanna. Don't go away. I'll be back soon. Ciao.
Awaken the warrior in you with Skadi, the new organic coffee by Sana Enterprises, LLC. I am Skadi, Norse goddess of winter, hunting, and just revenge. I bow down to no one. I am independent. I am fierce. I am a warrior. My Viking spirit is reborn in the new organic bean blend by Zanna Coffee. I will keep you up when you feel down, sharing my energy, my boldness, my zest for life. Find happiness in every cup, whether it's iced like a Scandinavian night to refresh a summer day, or hot as a hearth fire to warm the coldest winter morning. As you rise to face the day, Skadi will awaken the warrior in you.
Available at www.zannacoffee.com.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. luca-zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. luca-zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order luca-zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by luca-zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
Here we go, we are back. As you can hear now, I am back into my studio. There was a beautiful night in the middle of nowhere in this magic place. It's kind of a magic place because maybe not for us, but for people before us, as I was saying, the Indians, some of these places are kind of magic. And one thing I really like about the Indians, or I don't know if it's politically correct to call them Indians, they call the natives, I don't know. I'm from Italy, guys, but for me, you're Indians. When I grew up in Italy, I saw Indians and cowboy movies. But the point is, regardless, you can call yourself whatever you want. Human beings. I like to call you human beings, honestly, because we are all human beings at the end. But one thing I like about, even with their imperfections, because, they are human beings, and as I said before, they used to beat the crap out of each other even before the white man came. They were warriors. They were warriors, and some of them, they were even vicious warriors. So, I don't let me repeat myself. But one thing I really think it's kind of magical they have, because I think they still have, is the connection with the nature. After all, they can survive only if there is a perfect balance between them and the nature. The respect for the nature. That's something that I believe that we as a Western people, we need to start to learn or rediscover, because we used to have it too. Our ancestors, they used to live and be able to even thrive when they respected the nature. But unfortunately, the last couple of 100 years or more, let's say with in the modern times, let's put it this way, we forgot to respect nature, and we forgot that we are part of nature too. And we think that we can, somehow control everything. Unfortunately, we can't. That's when it comes down to the human hubris or, arrogance. So that's my point. So this place is magic. I believe there is some magic. There is I can, as I said, I feel myself really connected to, spiritually, to the nature. And I can feel the vibes. I can feel the everything. I mean, even during the night, when you have all these thunders and lightning and the rain and the animals running around, and I mean, this is a very magical place, as I said. So now I'm back. I'm back here in my studio, and I want to go back to some just more regular news, for whatever news we can call regular. So anyway, let's put it a little bit in this way. First of all, we already saw what's happened here. They tried to make us mentally, politically, and also psychologically castrated. I mean, they want to have this sense of guilt that we, as a white human beings, we are bad. and we need to apologize. Listen, I am not into apologize to anybody. If I make something a mistake, it's my fault. But I'm not going to be apologizing for somebody else's mistake, especially if they were done a long, long time ago by somebody I don't even know. So all this stuff, it's happening. Why? First of all, it's happening to a level never happened before. I mean, to see universities now having this sort of courses for sensitivity courses, or if you are white, you must feel guilty. I mean, look, there is another situation in Australia right now that is amazing. I mean, these nurses in Australia, they will need to apologize if they want to work. Are you kidding me? You say, no, this is it. Let me show it to you 1 second. I want to, just because this is kind of amazing.
To resign. And as Yazdinovich reports, even some Aboriginal leaders have described it as potentially damaging.
According to how the code is written, the white nurse would come in and say, before I deal with you, I have to acknowledge to you that I have certain privileges that you don't have.
What we've got is a bunch of do-gooders who think that this is actually going to help people, where in reality it's only dividing society.
The code says that I must tell you that they come about because of my whiteness, and your disadvantage becomes because of your blackness.
I doubt that it's come from an Aboriginal community, that's for sure. No actual consultation with Aboriginal people.
They're the backbone of our health system, often overworked and underpaid.
Nurses are very caring people. They're always respectful. It's in their genes. I mean, this is the thing that's so outrageous, because the fundamental.
Okay, I lost it. Anyway, let me tell you the situation. In Australia now, nurses, they will be demanded to apologize, to be white when they deal, before they start to, let's say, work with people of other colors, like black people or the natives, whatever. So that's the reality. Why this is happening? Because this is not just happening in Australia or, let's say in the USA. This is happening everywhere. This is happening because it's been planned to be happen. The destruction of our society starts with the dividing and conquering. That's where we are. They need to divide us and conquer us. They need to create again this sort of racial confrontation, because at the end, that's where the elites, the global elites, can thrive, when we are separated. The moment that we understand we are human beings, I don't care your color. All I care that I judge you by your actions, okay? But after that, we are humans, and we are facing the same threats. That's what we're doing. The moment that we have a global awakening, and we understand really who are these little roaches that control our lives, they control our environment, they can control also our weather, control our health, control our finances. They're just a handful of parasites. And we are billions of us, and they fear that we finally create an awakening, and we understand how to free ourselves. That's my point. Now, little example. Monsanto. Many of you may know Monsanto. Monsanto not only creates these, by the way, Monsanto is being bought by Bayer now. I'm sure you're familiar with that. The point with this Monsanto is being one of the most dangerous corporations in the world. In my humble opinion, supported by facts. Their products, starting from the genetically modified, seeds, are a danger to humanity. Okay, this is not like getting a food that could be cheaper and you have more productivity. This is about a food that will be, first of all, contaminated by a product that's called Roundup, or this sort of a pesticides that also controls the weeds. They can kill all the weeds. So it's full of glyphosate. This chemical element is highly cancerogenic. We used to say that. I've been saying that for years. Also the dangers of the genetically modified seeds. We already talked about it, that also in the University of France. It's been proven that also creates sterility, in just few generations in mice, and also tumors in the intestines. So this stuff is really bad. They know it. There is no excuse. But more important now, one thing at least we can say, little victory for humanity. In California, there was a lawsuit from a worker at a school district that has been spraying Monsanto product called Roundup for many, many years. and he developed a very serious form of deadly cancer. I mean, this man has a few weeks to live. Guess what? The lawsuit was won by the victim, and $229 million or whatever Monsanto has to pay to the family of the victim and to the victim himself, because the victim will be dead probably pretty soon. Why is this so important? Because there is a lot of evidence. Lawsuits like that, they're not just a bunch of people getting together and working on emotions. There are evidence, they're being proven, and, really brought out, finally. You can subpoena people, you can, completely get documents that normally you weren't able to get. So the point is, Monsanto knows and knew that this glyphosate, this dangerous element, is highly cancerogenic and can completely mutate your DNA and kill you and create cancer. The point is, you think people say, oh, this stuff is just because they want to make a buck. I wish it was just that. Even that would be terrible. The point, the same people that they control Monsanto, remember, there are people that behind Monsanto, they are part of the same elite who control the central banks around the world, also control the economy, control the weather, as I said, weather modification. Their plan is to destroy humanity. Population control or depopulation is a reality. We know that. And people who have been talking before me, way before me, and people also had much bigger audience than mine. Look at Alex Jones. I mean, he's been talking about that for many, many years, but now more than ever, they start to shut us up. They start to completely control. These people control also the technology platforms that we operate, like the internet, YouTube, Facebook. We see the faces of these people, but behind them, they're the real controllers. So what I'm talking about, we still can fight, and we have to fight, and we can still win. So let me play 1 second this little part. It's it's a little audio I got from the internet. Let's see.
Oh my gosh, we have a win at the Monsanto trial. I am so excited to announce that the jury ruled in favor of the plaintiff, Dwayne Lee Johnson. A school pesticide applicator was awarded about, I think, $287 or $289 million. I don't have the exact figures because I was just so excited. It was like $4 million for this and $33 million for that, and $250 million in punitive damages. And that means this is the amount that's going to send Monsanto the message that there are 4,000 other people waiting to sue, just like Dwayne Lee Johnson did. And the lawyers are expecting 10,000 in the wings by the end of the year. So if you have a loved one that used Roundup and got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you best sign up for that lawsuit. This is huge, folks. I can't believe it. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I had some problems with going live on Moms Across America, so I'm just going live on my personal page, and I just have to let everybody know that we've just been crying. The moms and I over here that have been watching, we watched on Channel 5 Live.
All right, that's it's a lady that I'm somehow following on Facebook. But anyway, my point is that's exactly why we are fighting. That's why we never have to give up. This is not just for us. Of course, we are here, but think about our next generation of sons and daughters. Things like Monsanto that spreads these terrible things. GMO seeds, they are really hard to remove, but glyphosate or whatever it's called, it's almost impossible. There is so much of this stuff that is already into our ground. It's going to take years to be somehow purified and removed. And if we don't stop it, we will be completely living in an environment that is going to be like hell. Now, almost like a Mad Max scenario with people completely transformed and mutated. Genetically modification are real. You saw that. You saw what happened to the mice after they eat for 4 generations these Monsanto GMO seeds. They transform. So my point is, we need to really fight. We have no other options. That's my point. That's why I'm on the show. Sometimes, as I said, I like to get a little bit of a different angle, try to also come back to the spirit of the show. The show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. We talk about freedom, definitely. We talk about guns, even though as much as I want to now, since I have an hour show. But for sure, we got to talk about love. The love is the main weapon that we have to completely keep fighting. think about it, why we are here, why we should be every day being somehow involved into this if we don't have love. Without love, we're just machines. And that's why the difference between us, in my opinion, and a machine, we have love, and we are motivated by love. Yes, we also have a bad side, we have a dark side, we are human beings, we are far from perfect, don't get me wrong, but there is also this good part of us that we cannot forget. That's my point. Now, more news, something that I would like to share. There was in New Mexico just last week a compound that was found to have a lot of teenager children also, that they were kept in a very, very, sad condition, dangerous condition. These were really small little children. And guess what? Now they found in that, by the way, the media, they don't say that, but they were, the adults, they are Muslims. Muslim, and one of them is also connected to the one family member of the 1993 World Trade Center, attempted, blow up. That's the point. So, but let me play 1 second this. Why is this so important? Because, we forget sometimes that we are already at war, and the war is not overseas. The war is here. Our gates have been opened. The enemy is within the walls. Let me show you how much all this is being planned within, because this is so important. Okay? And don't get me wrong. I don't say every Muslim is bad, but as I said before, I'm sorry. If you believe your book, we have a problem with you.
In December, 8 months later this week, deputies find a child's remains on a Taos County compound. Now, that same weekend, 11 kids are rescued from the compound, and we've learned what will happen to those kids, as well as why the father, accused of taking his son, may have abducted him.
I have no idea. I don't know what his thinking was, because to do something as extreme as this, it doesn't make sense.
That's Siraj Wahaj talking about his son of the same name, who is charged with 11 counts of child abuse and had a warrant out of Georgia on child abduction charges. A child's remains were found buried on a Taos County compound on Sunday, and though medical examiners have not confirmed they are those of missing Abdul Ghani Wahaj, the imam of a New York mosque says he believes they are his grandson. The missing boy's mother says the father wanted to perform an exorcism on him because he believed he was possessed by the devil. Siraj Wahaj says he hadn't talked to his son since December, but he does believe he and his daughter, Hudra, who is also charged with child abuse, were obsessed with exorcisms.
My son, to me, him and Hudra, been overly concerned about possessions.
Okay. Talking about possession, 1 second.
We call them jinn, translation with spirits. And maybe think that it's possessed with some kind of spirit.
Documents show a foster parent reported one of the children rescued from the compound told them the kids were being trained to carry out school shootings. The defense attorney in the case addressed those claims.
I would hope that if you're going to make that allegation, that you have identified witnesses to back it up, that you have documents or recordings.
As of now, that criminal complaint is the only place in this investigation where we've seen any mention of school shootings.
Well, we don't know for sure. As I said, we are all innocent until proven guilty, but the fact that was here a compound with little children kept in slavery, really seriously. Now we can, of course, have more information about if they were really trained for school shooting. But the fact that media, at least most of them, they completely omitted the fact that this was another group. Bottom line, they were all Muslims. That's the story. And, there are so many other cases. As I said, there are a lot of good Muslims out there, but you know what? Probably they're not Muslims. They're just men or women that were born Muslims. After all, they just try to be good human beings. If you really believe your book, as I said, I'm sorry. There is a big incompatibility in what you believe in, what is written in the book, and a civil society. You cannot serve two masters. That's the point. So, and they know it. They admitted it. So now why I want to bring this, because we need to be vigilant. Things are happening, and they're happening, as I said, we don't need to go overseas to find the enemy. The enemy is already here. And as I said many times, Muslims, they've been used as pawns. But they are good pawns, don't get me wrong. They believe their stuff. So it's not like, they're just doing it because, no, they are dangerous. Their belief is dangerous, and what they're trying to do, it is dangerous. Their goal is to submit. There is no way to have peace with them. They don't have peace. let me explain something to you, okay? They don't believe in peace. The peace for them is when you're or dead or submitted. Let me play this for you. This is something educational, okay?
Well, that's easy. It's when every leader of every country that makes up Western civilization no longer accepts reality and deals only in lies and cowardice when presented with genuine danger. In the midst of worldwide Islamic violence, war, terror, torture and rape, we're told Islam is a religion of peace, over and over again. It's a sign of total cowardice to state Islam is peaceful, when it is undoubtedly an ideology of supremacism and war. Islam is the Quran is Muhammad, and Muhammad was a warlord and a murderer. Now, Mecca today is the international shrine to Muhammad, but it didn't used to be. First he had to defeat the Meccans when they laid siege to his exiled home in Medina. Muhammad won the battle and was then involved in the execution by beheading of 700 Jewish male members of Medina's Qurayza tribe. The women and children were taken as slaves and sex slaves, and beheading, as we now know only too well, seems a particular favourite amongst Muslim murderers, and this is because it's instructed in the Quran, in any number of verses. Quran 5:33. The punishment of those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger is execution by beheading or crucifixion, or the cutting off of hands and feet from opposite sides. Quran verse 8:12. I will instill terror into the hearts of the unbelievers. Smite ye above their necks and smite all their fingertips off. Nice one. Quran 47:4. Therefore when ye meet the unbelievers, strike off their heads. So you see, Mr. Cameron, when Muslim murderers cut off soldiers' heads in London whilst quoting the Quran, it does, contrary to every lie that you've told, have everything to do with Islam. Now, David Cameron seems unaware that the perfect man in Muslims' eyes was a supremacist warlord, a murderer, and a sex enslaver of little girls. But then everything about Islam is supremacist. Islam translated means submission. Come on, what sort of a religion of peace calls itself submission? And what happens if you want to leave this religion of peace? You become an apostate, and the sentence for apostasy is death. So in other words, if you want to leave the religion of peace, you'll be killed. How peaceful is that, Mr. Cameron? Can't you see it? This religion of peace, this religion of Islam, kills its own women if they bring dishonour upon a family. Honour killings, honour violence, the stoning to death of adulteresses, the hanging of homosexuals. How can a religion which carries out these acts of savagery and barbarism possibly be considered a part of a peaceful religion? Again, I ask you the question, Mr. Cameron. Islam divides the world into two spheres, the area where Islam rules and the area where it does not. Now, the first is called the Dar al-Islam, which means the House of Islam, or the House of Submission, and the second is called the Dar al-Harb, which means the House of War. How many peaceful religions call areas they don't control the House of War, Mr. Cameron? All Western countries with large and growing Muslim populations find themselves, whether they like it or not, in the House of War, which is why, precisely why, our security services are engaged in a constant battle trying to stop the followers of the religion of peace blowing us up on trains, planes and buses. And good old Muhammad, he wasn't just a warlord, he was also a rapist and a sex slaver, which is exactly why we see rape and sex slavery happening today, and not just in Syria, but in towns and cities all across the West, wherever there are large numbers of Muslims. Notably Malmö in Sweden, which is now the rape capital of Europe, and the Islamic State, ISIS Islamic State, is currently, right now today, selling sex slaves in Syria, as are Boko Haram in Nigeria, and Britain has recently passed a new sex slavery bill in an attempt to halt sex slavery in England, which is yet another aspect of cultural enrichment we are supposed to celebrate that we didn't used to have to do before Islam arrived on our shores. And the reason why modern-day Muslims rape young girls in Western countries is because they don't recognise non-Muslim or infidel laws anyway, But young girls are deemed sexually permissible to Muslims in England because their perfect man, Muhammad, married one of his wives, Aisha, when she was 6, and consummated the marriage when she was 9. But you don't consummate a marriage with a 9-year-old girl, you rape her. And the Muslim rape epidemic carried out against non-Muslim underage girls in Britain is specifically down to Muhammad and the Quran. And no doubt the next time such a story breaks in England, when the next Rotherham one comes around, David Cameron...
All right, guys, that was a great idea from Paul Weston from England. All I can say, we are at war. I wish for peace, but the reality around us is different. I don't want anything bad to good people out there, but if you come to our communities with the goal to destroy, with the goal to, let's say, conquer, it's my duty to resist. Let's put it this way. I hope every one of you out there will resist against evil. Don't forget, though, who are the real master puppets? Who is behind this wave?
Back to Calico, I will go. Another day on the road. Another day under the sun. You bring your dreams, I'll bring my gun. Back to Calico, I will go.